I feel like my Schlep stuff bag is a permanent fixture in my book videos, which, let's be honest, are all I post. I know, I'm a boring loser. What can I say? This is the best bag ever. It's a great book for, well, a great book. It's a great bag for schlepping stuff, namely schlepping books. And speaking of which, here we go. Stacks of books. Oh, yes. The beautifulness of books. They're so pretty. So pretty. Before I knock them over, I gotta grab my bag so I can plop them back in here. The cavernous bag. Look at that. It just goes on forever. Anywho, so the first book is, remember, this is all the stack that I got from my mummy. And this is Marion Zimmer Bradley's The Sword and Sorceress number 8. I think I've mentioned this series in another video. It's a collection of short stories by various fantasy and sci-fi writers. It was huge in the late 80s and 90s. I think there are 30 plus books in the collection. Even though this is number 8, and that's my dehumidifier, I have the first 10 or 11. Number 8 was just not in great shape. So that's that one. Next is Claire's Heart by Joseph Olshan. While some of y'all may not be familiar with the book, the movie maybe, with Whoopi Goldberg and a very young Neil Patrick Harris. It's such a good movie, and I'm hoping the book is better. Well, the books usually are better, but you know. Plop. The next two are in the same series. This is The Talented Mr. Ripley, and what is this one? Ripley Underground by Patricia Highsmith. And if you're not familiar with the books, I'm sure you're familiar with the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley with Matt Damon, Jude Law, and Gwyneth Paltrow, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. And I had The Talented Mr. Ripley at one point, and I think it was lost in a move. I actually have lost it, not a lot, but a handful of things in moves, and this must have been one of them. But now I have the first two, I think, out of the 5 or 6 of the series. And plop. This is Single White Female, SWF Seeks Same by John Lutz. This is the book that the movie Single White Female was based on, with Bridget Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh, which, again, another one of my favorite movies. So I'm pretty sure the book is going to be better. Let's all cross our fingers. And plop. Aha! Now we get to the good, super good stuff. This is the book of The Unnamed Midwife by Meg Ellison, along with the sequel, The Book of Edda. And this is a trilogy, and I have the third one coming to me, I think, next month when it comes out. Thank you, Mummy. This was I think I posted about this book already. This is one of the best books I've ever read of all time. I could not put it down. It's so good. It's unlike anything I've read. And as soon as I was done, I was kind of bummed because I wanted to reread it all over again. I was bummed it was over. So I actually seriously contemplated reading it, but it was a library book. So I had to return it. So good. Read if you can. Plop. And this is The Map of Days by Ransom Riggs. I think this is the last book in the Peculiar Children series. I actually got my mom hooked on this series. It's really, really good. And I honestly thought, and nobody take this the wrong way, I'm not looking to insult anybody purposely. I actually thought this was more YA, and I don't read YA. And I actually gave it a shot, just why not? And it's not YA, or if it is, it's exceptionally good. It had to be good for my mother to like it. She's really picky. And blop. Next, it's a heavy stack. Oh, don't fall. These are books from the Goodwill, various trips, not all one. I think there's 2 trips in here. The first one is Lord of the Flies by William Golding, who I think also wrote The Princess Bride, if I'm not mistaken. Interesting, they're both turned into movies. Yes, this was a movie, Lord of the Flies, with a very young... Oh, his name's gonna friggin' escape me now. Y'all can look it up. I think I read this the first time in 8th grade. It had to have been 8th grade. And it was so good. And I've always wanted a copy. It's just one of those books that I never thought to buy until I came across it. And this cover is so rad. So, yep. Plop. This is Gillian Flynn's Sharp Objects. I know y'all are, well, most of y'all are familiar with her and Gone Girl. And I have Gone Girl and the other book of which I can't see from here, but y'all know what it is. Her books are so good. I remember reading Gone Girl and being so surprised, and that's actually what got me hooked on suspense novels. It's so good. So, plop. They're not plopping. This is, I don't know if any of y'all are going to be interested in this, The Country of the Pointed Firs by Sarah Orangewett. This is I guess they're short stories, vignettes that take place all in the same little town around the turn of the 20th century. It's so good. I rented. Jesus. I borrowed this from my local library and I couldn't put it down. I was really amazed. Someone suggested it, and whoever you were, thank you, because it's so good. And I finally have my own copy. Plop. A book that just goes to show I found a book I never thought I'd ever find at the Goodwill. This is Evil Eye by Joyce Carol Oates. I have, I think, 7 JCO books, and she's another short story author. Read her. She's amazing. Plop. Another short story author, actually my favorite, is Alice Munro. I have probably 7 or 8 of her books. This might even make it 9. She has so many books and I want them all. If you're looking for a short story author, or if you're looking to if you're interested in Alice Munro in general, any of her books you could read and fall in love with, I hope. And if you do, tell me, because I want to feel like I got you hooked on something good. Plop. Another awesome author, Jodi Picoult. Thank you to my bestie Lissy, who got me hooked on her books. And I'm so glad, because my life was definitely missing something, and that was Jodi Picoult. This is Small Great Things, and I'm not sure if this is her most recent, or if this is the one before the most recent, but it sounded so interesting. All her books sound interesting. And I found it in hardback at the Goodwill for something like, look at that, $4, people. This is like a $25, $30 book, right? Yeah, $30. See? And it's in brand new shape. Goodwill, people. Plop. And the last of the Goodwill books is Madeline Miller's Circe, who also wrote The Song of Achilles. And okay, I'll be honest with y'all. Even though I've heard of The Song of Achilles, I saw stuff all over Tumblr about it, I wasn't interested because I was pretty sure it was YA. And like I said before, I don't read YA. There's nothing wrong with adults who read YA. I'm just not someone who's interested in that genre. But this sounds so good and I flipped through it thinking, okay, this actually looks like it might be something that I'll like to read. And okay, let us also bask in the beautifulness of this cover. Look at that. She looks so sad, but look, shiny. So if you've read The Song of Achilles, or if you've even read this, let me know what you think. Always let me know what you think about stuff that I post. Plop. They're not really plopping anymore. And last, various books I've gotten various places. Okay, Belinda and the Joy Luck Club down here, I bought together from eBay. And Belinda was written by Anne Rice. Of course, she didn't write it as Anne Rice. She wrote it as Anne Rampling, because this is about sex. If you're familiar with her Sleeping Beauty series, that's also about sex. And anyway, this is really good. It's a little twisted, but that's okay, because that's kind of her MO. And it was so impossible to find this. I think it's been out of print for, I don't know, 15, 20 years or something. And I had a paperback copy, but I read it to death. And y'all who have paperbacks know what I mean when I say that. So I had been looking for a good hardback, as in a good copy of it, good condition. And I found it, and it was so inexpensive. And I can't wait to just bury myself in that book again. Plop. Oh, and here we go. Here's the other one. Oh no, it fell. The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. Hardback version. This is the first book I ever read of hers, and this is what got me hooked on her books in general. Oh, read it. Just read it if you can. And of course, the book that fell, it fell upside down. So, and I can't reach it. I don't think. Can I reach that? Yay! I get a prize for that. My chair's all creaky. Okay, this is Lev Grossman's The Magicians. And my bestie gave me this and the second one, The Magician King. She received a really nice set of them for Christmas. And so she gave me the ones that she had. And I heard nothing but good things about it. She's hooked on the show. Personally, I'd rather read the books because I can't get into the show. It's confusing. So I'd rather read the books. So that's what those are. And that's all of it. That's all the things. Pardon my foot. All the things, all the books. And I love you. And I hope you love me. And if nothing else comes from this, I wish you happy reading.